All right, recruiting track review. Our recruiting track, we always want to go with our first 6 lessons of sales track because they are integral to our recruiting track as well. And as a matter of fact, they follow hand in hand. There's just some language change and maybe flow of conversation change. So the first thing that I think most people go wrong when they first come into a company is they forget to write down a list. Do that as your first step. Go through your cell phone, go through your contact list in your computer. If you still have business cards, Rolodexes, whatever, come up with a list of as many names as you can. And as I said earlier, don't make the decision who should hear the message and who should not. Put them on the list and put them in some categories, rate them 1 to 10 or rate them, hot, warm, and cold. But come up with a list of people that you can talk to and that you can prospect through. Now, prospecting and selling are not much different at all because in both contexts, you have to grab the individual's attention enough to want to know more. And so as Joan had mentioned last week, she recruits by always exposing the individual to the product and does that through video, does that through initial conversation. But she wants to make sure that that individual has buy-in to the product before she proceeds with recruiting them. And I think you can all understand why that is so important, because with that buy-in, that's where the passion, the emotion, and the conviction comes from to be able to pull this together. Your second is your 15-second commercial, which we reviewed on the recruiting side last week. Use of qualifiers and tie-downs, what we're going to talk about this evening. Your personal and borrowed story, the litmus test, and setting the appointment in stone. For the recruiting process, the sequence of events is that number 1, gain interest, which is your first 6 lessons of sales track. Number 2 is send your videos or live webinar, and if you go back 2 lessons, you'll see the different videos and webinars we put on a slide, but you can go through your agent portal, you can go through your replicated website for recruiting or for sales. But anything that you do in the way of information that you send to the client, make sure you follow up with them within 24 to 48 hours. Follow-up appointment, answer questions. That's your third step. Do a 3-way call if you need to answer some questions. Just remember that 3-way call is so important because that third person on the phone, if you edify that person that you're going to bring onto the phone in the 3-way, the member of our team, if you edify them when the individual you're trying to recruit or trying to sell talks to them, they're going to know that they're speaking to somebody in a position of authority that has most of the answers or all of the answers where the program is concerned. In that same context, remember the person with a briefcase or the third person on the phone is the expert. That is just the way it's viewed when somebody else comes into the conversation. So use that to your advantage. Close for recruiting, target the 250 trial or payments or a full sale. A full sale is what is going to benefit you the most immediately. But do what is best for the client, and then begin your training and support. And training and support is its own thing. We will discuss what training and support should look like after we get through the recruiting process. But this is your sequence of events as they occur. Last week we talked about the 15-second commercial. Joan mentioned how, situation, well, I, and a solution. Great way to set up your 15-second commercial. Figure out who your target market is, and the easiest way to do that is what have you done for years? What do you know? Who do you know? I have said this to many people. I would not try to break into a market with this product that you have no understanding of or you have never worked in. Many people I hear all the time say, I'm going to go after real estate agents, I'm going to go after loan officers, I'm going to go after insurance agents, tax people, financial planners. Those are very good people to go, but if you don't know their language, you'll get shut down very quick. It is something where that would be where a third person being involved, splitting your sale with someone or getting that leader on the phone to answer some questions, especially if you know they have their insurance license like Darlene and Joan, if you know that they've been financial planners, real estate agents. Get to know the other people on your team. Talk to your leader. Who else do we have on our team? Who can we reach out to? What do they do? Use other people in this third-party environment to speak as the expert. When you're setting up your own target market, if you've been a teacher, go talk to teachers. If you've been a mechanic, go talk to mechanics. Keep it very simple. Network everywhere you go. Keep it real, but keep it simple. Be direct and be relevant. In other words, network with intention. Go out with the intention of meeting people. Go out with the intention of building your database. Your database is your gold. The only thing that's more important possibly than your database, and I don't think it's more important, it's equally as important, is your telephone, is using the database. Having a great database and never telling anybody about it is not going to do you any good. It's not going to do them any good. So get that list down and get it refined to people that you call, and make sure that when you formulate these 15-second commercials, these enticing things, the networking you're doing, be effective, be engaging, be enticing, be convincing, be compelling. This is what we want to look for. Everyone you talk to goes into your database. Joan brought up last week as well FORM, which is family, occupation, recreation, and message. Ask them about their family. So how's the family been doing? What do you do for a living? What do you do for fun? And then depending on how the conversation goes, if it's becoming very whole and you're having a good exchange of information, then give them your message, whatever that 15-second commercial is that fits that individual. Remember, we said you should have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different 15-second commercials depending on where the conversation goes. And that 15-second commercial can be done with the you know how, the situation, and well I, the solution, or you can do the 7-word 15-second commercial, which Joan brought up as a challenge last week to everybody that was on the call last week. And the 7-word, Nick just typed in immediately, his 7-word 15-second commercial is, I help people eliminate their financial stress. I like that. I like that a lot. My personal little 7-word commercial is, I advocate financial freedom. It's actually smaller than 7 words, or I am an advocate for financial freedom. I help people take control of their future. That's actually 8 or 9 words. Something short, something concise, something that doesn't sound too hokey. I like what you wrote there. I help people eliminate their financial stress. That's pretty strong, Nick. I like that one. If anybody else would like to chime in, if you took the time, we're on the call last week and came up with your 7-word commercial. And remember, we want to use trigger words like advocate, eliminate, take advantage, come alongside, or help is a good trigger word. Debt is a good trigger word. Interest is a good trigger word. I help people eliminate their interest. I help people use the bank's interest. There's different ways that you can mold this, but the idea is that you're breaking it down to something so concise that you could either say it just that way or expand it a little bit, and it wouldn't be too long for individuals to get that information. General networking, business networking, and family networking. Those should be the 3 areas that you're talking to people about, whatever it is you have going on, your different ideas in business, what you have going on with Worth Unlimited, the financial climate, things that are happening financially, whatever it is that you're speaking to. Remember, be relevant to the conversation that you're having. Out and about, shifting the conversation. Do you have real estate? Do you hate paying all that money to the bank? Do you like giving the bank all that interest? There's little phrases that you can say to shift the conversation to where you want that conversation to be. It is very easy to move somebody down a path. You can, once they've done that, and we're going to talk about personal and borrowed story next week, you can go into your personal and borrowed story, explanation of it, like the financial GPS, which I use that if I'm going to explain any of it. the savings, the benefit, good, simple explanations. Don't get into too much detail. Don't talk about, it transferring funds and doing all this stuff. That GPS analogy has worked very well for us for many years, and I don't think anything quite describes it as well as that simple GPS explanation that a GPS tells you when to turn and, gets you from point A to point B the quickest way. Well, if getting out of debt or accumulating wealth is your goal, the program is set that it knows where you're starting and it knows where your end destination is, and it gives you step-by-step driving directions of what you need to do in order to get there. Very simple prompts. It's web-based, very simple interface. As simple and concise as you can possibly keep it. Would you like to see if this is something that you would qualify for? Would you like to know more about it? Would you like to take some time and let's get coffee and let's discuss the company and the product and what it is that we're trying to accomplish? And then your 7-word commercials with emotional triggers. Please, these lessons I know sometimes seem redundant, sometimes they seem long, but if you put this information into practice, it's like going to therapy and you hear everything really good from the therapist, but you never make any changes, then nothing is going to change. If you have a fear factor, we've talked about this, what holds us back, what keeps us from achieving our potential, and many times it is just fear or fear of the unknown or how it's going to turn out. I promise you this, success is not going to hurt you. And I'll say that again, success will not hurt you. Putting this information into operation and into plan will help you, and will help you with your sales, and will help you with your recruiting. Okay, so Worth Unlimited Recruiting Part 3, February 11th, 2019. Qualifying questions and tie downs. During conversation, ask questions. You're going to see this come up a lot. You're going to see listen come up a lot in this presentation this evening. Keep your agenda off the table. What do I mean by that? You should be asking a lot more questions than you should be talking. You should be always trying to learn more about the other individual. I love something my father said. I've heard this a lot of my life. If we truly want to understand other people, we have to listen to them. We have to understand them. It's not up to us to get our information out. Cater your pitch. I know a lot of people don't like the word pitch, but I don't know a better word for it. Cater your pitch to identify ways our program can help and resolves things that are important to them. The only way you're going to find out what's important to them is to ask questions. Find out what is important to the person you're speaking with. Ask them questions like, do you escrow your money if you're getting into it, or when was the last time you took a vacation? When was the last time you went out to dinner? When was the last time you had a night just for you and your wife? When was, do you have plans to buy additional property? Are you looking at a summer place? Are you looking at an RV? Do you have student loans? Do you want to liquidate? What is it that you want to liquidate? What is it you would like help with the most? By asking these very broad, open-ended questions, it allows the individual to talk, and it allows you to gather and collect the information that you need in order to make yourself relevant to their situation. This helps with qualifying the prospect. Are they a good candidate for being an agent? Is it someone that you would actually work with? I see all too often that people just get excited that somebody will listen to them, and they're like, yeah, join now. Well, our sign-up fee really is not that exorbitant in the market space for business opportunities like this. It's actually rather small. So take the time to really talk to your prospects. Take the time to identify, do they want an additional piece to their current business? Are they looking for an additional income stream? Do they want an ancillary product to what it is that they currently do, that they can see the synergy between, like insurance and this product, or mortgages and this product, or financial planning in this product, or being a teacher and how many teachers have debt and where this product comes in? Help open their eyes as a prospect that they actually have a market space, because just about everyone has debt of some kind. Go back to your market space is what have you done? You that are recruiting people in, have these conversations with them. Find out what is important to them. Find out, after they've watched the videos and things, what did you like best? That's a great way to find out, what is important to them or what spoke to them. And tailor that against what it is that that you know about the product. Helps you to determine what aspects of being an agent prospect would appreciate the most. Helps weed out people who are not willing to think outside the box, not really interested in the opportunity, or they're interested in maintaining their status quo. Again, I'm going to put it down here. Listen. You should be listening more than you're talking. They will tell you exactly what you need to know to move forward. It's amazing when you finally get an individual to drop their blast shields and their safety net, so to speak, and just be real with you and be relevant with you, how much information people will give you. You all have heard the term TMI, too much information. I've been in that position many times when I just ask a couple questions and I just let them go. Now, in a business networking environment, you usually have a set period of time, so you have to kind of rein the conversation in. But with family and friends and outside prospecting, just let the conversation grow organically. Become their friend first. Let them feel comfortable with your conversational language and who you are before you start pressing them and ask them questions. Remember, form, family, occupation, recreation, and then your message. Find out about them before you start launching into your pitch, because if they don't feel any comfort or safety with you, anything you have to say is not going to mean anything to them. They're not going to take it to heart. They're not going to put it into action. Do you know anyone with debt? Now I'm just going to give you a couple different qualifying questions, and I'm going to bring Dr. Joan on here in just a little bit to see if she can just throw out a couple questions, but I'm going to give you a couple just direct questions. But this is, now again, this is after you have developed the conversation. If you start off with one or two of these questions that I'm getting ready to show you, you've shot yourself in the foot. I'm just trying to show you how to phrase a qualifying question, and then, do you know anyone who has debt? Well, yeah, I know a lot of people that have debt. Well, would you be willing to expose them to a product that helps them get out of debt? Would you be willing to talk to them about debt? That's the tie down piece. It's the question first, and then the tie down is would you, or if I would you, or if I could, would you, or if this could, would you? That's really the nature of qualifying question. And tie down is if we have this, if we can do this, would you be willing to do this, or would this open the door in this aspect? Do you know anyone looking for some extra income? Yeah, I know some people that are looking for extra income. Well, who? Well, me, for example. Really, you're looking for extra income. What does that look like? How much money are you looking to make? Oh, a couple $1,000 a month or whatever, okay. How much time were you willing to put into this? If I told you that I know of a way that you can make great money part-time, would you want to listen to that? So that's the qualifying question, and then the tie-down that accompanies. What do you do for a living? That really opens the door to them asking what we do for a living. It's a pretty reciprocal question. Has the economy affected your current business, whatever business you're in? You may not even, hopefully you know from asking questions what they do for a living now, because you did form, occupation, recreation, and message. Hopefully you know what they're doing for a living. This is after you've learned a little bit about this client, and you're going to ask questions that are tailored to the information that you've already received. Would you be open to taking a closer look at how this may benefit you? There is a tie-down question. Have you heard about the Worth account? What a great qualifying question. Have you heard about the Worth account? Have you ever heard about Worth Unlimited? No? Yes? Yes, you have. What have you heard about Worth Unlimited? No, you haven't. Well, let me tell you about Worth Unlimited. 7-second, 7-keyword commercial, 7-word commercial with hit words, or your 15-second commercial, or you could maybe opt with a personal borrowed story from recruiting or from sales. Are you interested in learning about different ways to increase your core business? If they answered yes to that, what would that look like for you? How would you go about increasing your core business? What would you think would be a good fit to increase your core business? What have you been currently looking for to expand your core business? Would you like to make great money on a part-time basis? Well, yes, I would. Well, are you willing to do the work that's necessary to put in the part-time hours to make this work? Well, yes, I am. Well, what would the perfect part-time job look like to you? Just tell me about it. There's a great question to ask people if they're looking to make great money on a part-time basis. Okay, so let's say that I have part-time work available. What would your perfect part-time job look like? How much time would you want to spend? What would you be doing? Would you be helping people, selling something? What would that look like for you? Are you making the kind of money you would like to be making? That's a pretty yes or no. Again, they come back and say, no, I'm not. Well, what kind of money would you like to be making? And that begins to open the door. Well, if you could make that kind of money, how would you go about doing it? Do you see how you're building on each one of these little statements to draw that person in deeper and truly show interest in what's going on for them so that they open up and start telling you, are you satisfied with your current income? Let's say you just had great service at a restaurant, a store, a phone tech, whatever it may be. You did a great job today. Thank you. I'm looking for some more agents. Are you interested in making some extra money? What if you said, I'm looking for some more people to join my team. Are you interested in making some extra money? You could maybe have something, my business is really growing, it's booming right now. Do you know anyone who'd be interested in making some serious income, part-time or full-time? It doesn't matter. I'm really swamped and I need the help. Or I need more agents, or I need more employees, or I need more people to join my team. That sense of urgency, that reality that your business is booming, that your business is beginning to explode, this is contagious. People want to be involved in something that's exciting. People want to be involved in something that is helping people. People want to be involved in something that is taking off. People will be attracted to your business, whether you believe it or not, by your energy. That is just an absolute reality. People will be attracted to your business by your personal energy. And that's the way that this will come together. Chet came in with his 7-word commercial, and that was on a crusade to advocate financial freedom. I like it, and you hit some really good key words in there. Anything like that can help you get that person's interest or have them say, well, what does that look like for me? What does that look like for you? What is it that you actually do in advocating financial freedom? So just know if you have this 7-word commercial with the kick words in it and everything, that people are probably going to ask you questions like, what does that mean to you? When you throw that out, well, what exactly are you saying? So what do? You need to have a follow-up for what you do after doing that 15-second commercial, or a direction that you're going to take that client. You can't just throw that out and then go, it's a pro. You don't have to have every bit of the language down. You don't have to know everything about the product. You just have to know enough in order to move them forward. You just have to know enough to point them in the direction of videos. You just have to know enough to point them in the direction of the comp program, send them the information, and walk them through the process. Get to know your prospect. That's what we're really saying here. Really invest in your prospect. Get to know them. Get to know what motivates them. Get to know what they like, what they don't. Ask about their specialty in their respective fields. If they're a teacher, what do you teach? What grade? What do you specialize in? If they're a professor at a university, what do they do? If they're a mechanic, what do you specialize in on automobiles? If they're insurance, what is your bread and butter with insurance? If they're a tax person, so on. Find out their specialty in that respective field, or what really turns them on about their respective field. What made them get into the field? Why did you decide to become a mechanic, a teacher, a professor, a financial planner, an insurance agent? These are broad, open-ended questions. How long have you been working in your current field, and what have been your greatest challenges? I would put those together. How long have you been doing it, and what have been your greatest challenges that you've overcome in this field? Ideal clients. What is your target market? Who do you typically go after? What are the people that you're looking for with what you do in business? Who is your target market? Well, if you're a teacher, it's students, but it's also your peers. If you're a mechanic, your target market is the people you're fixing the cars for, but it's also your peers in the shop and your managers and those people. So everybody has a niche kind of people that they associate with, and that's the most comfortable niche for them, and they can speak the easiest and they understand the language. How has the economy affected your business? I asked that one earlier, and I put et cetera there. These qualifying questions, you really want to get to know them and use, again, I'm going to repeat it, form, family, occupation, recreation, and then your message. Darlene let me know that she has been on the call now for a little while. And so, Darlene, thank you for joining us. I hope that your webinar that you were on was profitable for you and for the company. And so thank you very much for doing that. If you're targeting realtors, loan officers, financial planners, insurance agents, be sure you know a little bit about their industry. We talked about this in the last slide a little bit, but this is very important. If you're going to break into these, you have to know something about it. So if you don't know anything about the industry, then you need to study it, or you need to partner with somebody that does know something about the industry. Like if you have a lot of contacts in insurance, real estate, or whatever, connect with a field closer that has their insurance license or has their real estate license or has been doing work for a long period of time and has worked in that environment in all different areas. Really think about who your audience is and what is your knowledge base versus their knowledge base, especially when you're talking about people that deal with finance. I promise you this, if you open up and ask the questions, the prospect will tell you things that are important to them, and then you can adjust your presentation to include things that are important to them. From your value propositions, what is important to them, that is how you build your value proposition for your client. Everything that I talk about, by the way, you could go on to YouTube or Dale Carnegie or Zig Ziglar or any sales training, and you could find very similar information. So I'm not trying to just rehash things, but everybody has a little bit different twist and everybody has a little bit different spin. But at the end of the day, there's truly nothing new under the sun. We know that for a fact. Everything that could be said has been said in one way or another. So it's up to you to find what matches your personality. What flows out of your mouth just like normal language? What works well for you? Think about the best friends you have and how you built those relationships. And that's how you want to address individuals that you're trying to bring into the company and that you're trying to prospect and that you're trying to sell the product to. Ask questions and be ready to associate how our program can help them with their hot spots. What is important to them, how our program can help them with that thing, with paying off debt, with getting multiple homes and having a passive income, with going on that vacation, for paying for that college education. Whatever is important to them, tailor your message, tailor your information to address their issues. You may want to create a list of value propositions for your target market, particular field, and a general value proposition list. Like if you're a mechanic, what would be the things that would interest you as a mechanic? Now, if you're talking to another mechanic, start asking them questions. What is important? What is it more important that you stop paying as much interest? Is it more important that you just have monthly payments that you can afford and have some money left over at the end? Or is it more important that you want to actually pay off your mortgage, or do you look at that as just another expense? What is important to you? Don't give it to the prospect. Use it to review different value propositions prior to the appointment. Then after you've gotten to know the prospect, mention 3 to 5 of these value propositions that match their statements. So in your conversations and everything that you're putting together, and you've moved into that appointment, they've watched some stuff, you've learned a little bit about them, when you go in to actually start to talk to them about the product and becoming an agent, use these value propositions from information they had given you that you formulated to say, this would be a great ancillary product to come alongside your brokerage in insurance, because you can actually set up the program where it'll put away money for the insurance premium. You can actually set up the dollar amount you need in the program to remind the client if they want to overfund the policy, or however they want to operate through it. If it's a mortgage, what if I could make you the guy that's not only giving them the mortgage but showing them how to save a ton of money on that mortgage, separating yourself from the pack, so to speak. This is where you need to go with business people, because this is the information they're looking for. I like to do this in a form of question. How would your business improve if you had boom? And this is talking to people that could use it. Now, obviously, if you're talking to a teacher or a mechanic, they're not going to use it probably with other clients on that same degree that a financial planner and a real estate agent and all that would do it. You would tailor this more to say something like, how would your life improve if you had access to a product like this and you could deliver that to other people and make good money doing it? How would your life improve if you got on the product and you went from 28 years to 12 years of mortgage payments, including all of your debt paid off in 12 years? How would that improve your life, your situation? If it is somebody that would physically use the product in their business, how would you, having this product, improve your business to be able to offer this to your clients? Can you see where this would coincide? Ask and then be quiet. Let them respond. I know I am just rattling on and I'm throwing so much information at you, but each time you ask a question, stop. Give them time to process. I don't care what that silence looks like, and let them start responding. Some people need more time to process information than other people. They will tell you exactly what they need to hear from you to move the sales process forward. Remember, not everyone you speak with is a good candidate for worth. There are some people that you'll meet trying to prospect that you don't want to work with, and that's okay. Don't be too judgmental if there's personality difference, just because having a diverse team will help you in the three-way call area. You could recruit somebody that's in insurance. You could be above them, but they know more about insurance than you do. You get another insurance prospect on the line. You may want to call the person you recruited that knows insurance and say, hey, this guy is an insurance agent himself, had a great career, he's an agent with worth. Edify him, build up his points, and have them speak. And to that new person you're recruiting, that person that's actually beneath you will appear to be the authority. And it will act in that same concept of that third-party close, of the three-way call. Use questions to qualify your prospects. Use tie-downs to increase and solidify your commitment. So the questions, your qualifying questions, are to really figure out, is this a good fit for me? Are they a good fit for the business? Have they ever done anything in outside sales? Are they really hungry? Do they want to get something done? Or is this somebody that I'm going to hire in because of the nature of the conversation I have, and all they're going to do is ask me questions throughout the whole thing and never actually get down to getting any business done? Be particular with the people you recruit. Just because they can breathe on a mirror and they can sign their name is not a good reason to recruit them into your business. Remember, if you recruit them, you're going to have to work with them. Only move forward with those who answer positively. And if you have to strong-arm someone to move forward, they are not the right fit. So for qualifying questions and tie-downs, what is the big takeaway, for this month, so to speak, or what is our big takeaway out of this for this evening? Well, I think if we really look at the reality of what our lesson has been about, if I was going to summarize it real short, it's ask a lot of big, broad, open-ended questions. Take notes on what they say. Use that information to build your qualifying questions, your tie-downs and your value propositions. you should have a battery of qualifying questions that you ask people in each one of those three markets. Remember, your personal life, family life, and your business life is where you're networking. You should have a battery of questions that you ask all of these individuals in order to elicit a response, to qualify them, to save time, to make your process a lot more effective. So in summary, sales track process is best used for recruiting as well as sales. Don't reinvent the wheel. Follow a duplicatable system that can be easily learned and executed by others. Gain interest, your first 6 lessons of sales track. Send the videos. These are your steps that we went through at the very beginning. Begin your training and support afterwards. Identify your target market. Create your pitch to be relevant. Follow up, follow up, follow up. The fortune is always in the follow-up. Do something uncomfortable every day to build your business. Don't be a secret business owner. Get out there and start the conversation that matters. And if you ever need to get in touch with me, there is my email and my phone number, and Worth Support is available for any questions that you may have as well. As I mentioned last week, I wanted to start trying to end these trainings on a 45-minute basis to a 50-minute basis, and I think we've hit it right on the button. I want to thank Joan for having been on the call and recorded for us. I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to get over to you, and Darlene for being on the call as well. Again, I apologize for not being able to get over to you at the time that we had this evening and the information to go through. Next week, Joan and Darlene, I would really appreciate, we are going to review qualifiers and tie downs. If you could have maybe 2 minutes put together for both of you on that side, and I'll bring you on and during the review section, and we'll go through that. But I just want both of you to know, and your husbands to know, how valued you are and how much I appreciate you being on 99.9% of my calls, and I could not do this without both of your input and what you bring to the table on the calls. So I do want to thank you all, and everybody else who got on the call, thank you so much for jumping on the call. I want to thank you for the work that we've been doing so far in 2019, and let's just make it bigger and better in 2019. Let's make it bigger and better. And do remember that all of our webinars are recorded, so you can go to YouTube if there's something you missed in this, or there's a screen that you want to see again, or information that you need. You can go to YouTube, type in the search Worth Unlimited Corporate Training Channel. The first panel that pops up, click on that. All of them are dated and with the lesson title, so you can go in and you can review, you can scroll through. You don't have to listen to the whole thing. So for everybody involved, everybody that helps me pull this off, thank you so much. Everybody that's on the call this evening, let's get out there and do it big. Let's get out there and do it right. But at the very least, let's get out there and do something right now. This is Max Saunders saying bye-bye for now.